left-handed flush. Short tip back in. Weaver got it. Yes.
Team to shoot. Pull back, step back three. Bottom.
The handoff. Jones for the tie. Oh, he's fouled and one. He's still loose. Doherty the heave. Oh my God.
Southern Utah.
Wow.
Southern Utah is going to do something they've never done. Go to the NCAA tournament.
It is New Year's Day 2025, and that means the start of WAC play is a little over 72 hours from now. Joining us on the Straight Outta WAC podcast is ACU's Payton Hull, last year's Freshman of the Year and all-newcomer team selection, and two-time Player of the Week honoree, and very quietly making a name for herself in the Player of the Year race this year. Payton, Happy New Year. Thanks for taking the time to join us. Sounds like you got weights in about 20 minutes, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. First, let's talk about your kind of recruiting road to ACU. I know you were a three-sport athlete in high school, two of those being two of my favorite sports to cover outside of basketball and volleyball and golf. Were you being recruited for all three or multiple or just the basketball?
Really just basketball. I was recruited in 7th grade by Coach Goodenough. But I did get like D2 offers for golf and volleyball. But I never, I committed so early, so I was like, I think I'm going to stick with basketball.
Talk about in an era where so many players are specializing at a very early age, just playing three sports and what you learned from playing three sports.
Oh gosh, I learned a lot. My dad put me in all types of sports when I was young. So just like being able to, especially in high school, being able to like function from going one sport to the other, but like my main focus was always basketball. It was kind of hard, but kind of got through it. It was fun. I do miss those sports, but I'm here. I'm basketball only. So
And I noticed you were a UIL state tournament qualifier in golf too. So just talk about that road. You ever think of maybe dusting out the clubs and playing in a city tournament here or there?
Oh, I would love to do that actually.
In the off season or something?
I would love to. My dad started me whenever I was like 12 and he would caddy for me and I would go into like the junior PGA tournaments and he would caddy. And at that time, that was probably my favorite sport. But ever since, it's just a really mental game. And, basketball was just tops that. So
yeah, I was joking with Bella. You and Bella ought to take on a couple of ACU women's golfers in a two-man scramble for some kind of interdepartmental fundraiser.
Yes, that would be so much fun.
All right, ACU women's golf coach, if you're watching, let's put this together.
Yeah, I would try out right now.
All right. Ironically enough, when I came out for the ACU SFA game, Peaster Volleyball stopped by the Starbucks I was at after the game.
Really?
And I'm Southern California's king of fives. I batted 500 this year in 5-set matches that I covered. Let's talk about last year at ACU. Disappointing end to the season in the WAC tournament, losing to Tarleton in that first round. But this year you come in with one of to conference play with one of the country's most improved defenses. Was that emphasis on defense so that you could have the ability to win a game like what in the WAC tournament when shots weren't falling, particularly in that second half against Tarleton?
Yes. Right now we've been having a lot of defensive practices and, they say defense wins games. And right now we're winning those games. And I think just like our defense this year, so much better. And I think everybody sees that. And that's just thanks to the coaches for improving us in practices and stuff.
The late Pat Summitt used to have a saying that the best thing about a freshman is that they become a sophomore. Where have you made the biggest leap in terms of your game from freshman to sophomore year? Your points are up by about 5-ish a game. You were selected, you're a multiple-time WAC Player of the Week selection. Actually, the first to reach the multiple selection plateau this year. Just talk about where your game has improved the most in this 24-25 season with Utah Valley and the conference opener dawning.
Well, I think, everybody freshman year, like for everyone's freshman year, they don't have a lot of confidence. I know that I kind of started getting confidence kind of early last year, but this year, since I've been playing, I know how to, play with the girls. We have five returners, so we all kind of know how each other play, how we play with each other. So I think that's kind of like a boost on my ability to know how to score better and know how they play with me. So,
Yeah, you made a splash very early on last year during that trip to the Naval Academy,
mhm.
and then kind of a big key in Bella's back-to-back triple doubles. What do you remember about that 72-hour stretch there?
Ooh. Um, I mean, I don't really remember a lot from that. But I remember the Navy game, first game at the Navy game. I didn't play well. I think that was my first start was at the Navy game. Um, but I knew the second game shots were going down. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep shooting. Coach Goodenough tells me to shoot. I'm gonna shoot. And ever since then, my confidence has been good, and I just shoot whenever I'm open. That's what she tells us to do.
This year, you guys were picked fourth by the coaches poll. What gives you guys the hope that you can exceed that expectation and give GCU a run for your money? I know the mid-major coaches poll seems to think you guys are picking up steam in there now and are the only other WAC team besides GCU to receive a vote in this week's poll.
I think right now we're playing really good team basketball. So if we just keep continuing that, I think we have a great chance at going pretty far this year. And beating a lot of teams. Because I think right now all of us, our mindset's on the same thing, and it's to win and to win by a lot. So I think if we just keep continuing that, we'll do pretty good this year.
Um, you look at this now 10-game winning streak, I believe it is, after that non D1 win over Nelson
Mhm.
going into the new year. You've won, the nice sweep against FIU, the nice sweep against Sac State. How, although it's rare to play somebody twice in non-conference, how helpful was it to simulate WAC play by playing somebody twice?
Um, I mean, I think especially like the scout and stuff, we already like knew exactly what players uh could shoot the ball, what players drive, and I think that really helps with playing people twice because you know their strengths and their weaknesses. So I think just being able to know that will help whenever you play people twice.
Um, you guys went into the Christmas break on a nice win at the pit. Just talk about winning and, at altitude in one of the games. I think one could say hallowed halls, if that's reasonable to say. I'm not much of a New Mexico fan, but I'm sure the Lobo fans would probably say it's a hallowed venue. It's in both sides of the game.
Hmm.
You see the ESPN clip there of Jim Valvano running around looking for a hug, and that was in the pit, I believe, if my memory serves. Just talk about winning in that venue that has had been such a key venue in the game.
Um, yeah, I didn't really feel like I just felt like I was playing in a regular gym, really. But that was a great atmosphere. They had a lot of fans there, but we did too. All of Natalia's family, they all are from Mexico, New Mexico, so they came to the game and she has a bunch, so they were all there cheering for us. I think, the atmosphere, the just all the fans, that's what made it so much fun to play. And just playing for them is really fun.
Yeah, you could tell it was a pretty nice crowd on the Mountain West Network feed that I had to watch after I got home from work that day. Um, talk about like GCU drew 1,700 for the NAU game on Sunday. Those are the kinds of crowds that top level matchups need to be drawing. How do
Mhm.
we get more? How do we bump that attendance up so that good, solid women's matchups are, if nearly matching, if not matching, men's attendance across the conference?
I wish I knew that, how to do that. But I think, especially for us, if we just keep playing how we're playing, I think more fans will come to our games, especially um our last game. I felt like we had a lot more fans than we usually do, especially in Christmas break. So I think just continuing playing good basketball will attract more fans for us and for everybody else.
Do you guys feel like you've gone about this streak very quietly, especially since a lot of it was on the road, and you haven't had a lot of home dates other than the non D1 against Nelson in that stretch?
I I think so. I think we're like the quiet assassins, trying to, make a name for ourselves because last year our record wasn't very good. So I think this year, right now, we're doing really phenomenal. Our team is playing great team basketball. So I think, yeah, that's just,
Was there a motivation there coming in? Because last year was Coach Goodenough's first losing campaign since coming to ACU.
yes, they're, especially with the returners, we wanted to do something good. And the seniors this year, I played with them last year and they really mean a lot to me. So playing for them is kind of like also a mindset for me is I want to do good for them so they have a good rest of their year.
And last go if they choose not to use their grad.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of looking at Saturday's Utah Valley matchup, it's a matchup of two of the top scoring defenses or turnovers forced defenses in the WAC. Um, talk about some of the things you guys are going to have to do well Saturday afternoon to start WAC play 1-0.
We're gonna have to they're really good. They're a really good team. And I know um and their defense is really good. And I think our defense is better. And I think just pressuring them at the beginning and continuing that, because I think all of us are in pretty good shape right now. So pressuring the whole game, taking the shots we need, will probably win that game.
Schedule wise, would you rather play a non D1 right before that conference opener or just have a stretch of practice going into that game? Because, I mean, the Nelson game, yes, it took a while to get to a blowout, but
Mhm.
do you guys feel like you would have rather been better served by that game or just a stretch of practice?
I would say I would play a game just because I don't know if Utah Valley has played a game since I don't know when they played last, but um I think playing a game just so you like feel the atmosphere of how games are before you start actual conference play, I think helps. But yeah, I think playing a game is more beneficial.
All right. Um, all right. We're going to do a little something called getting to know the Wildcats.
Okay.
And then we'll close with a little 5-question rapid fire.
Okay.
So, getting to know the Wildcats first. Who is most likely to be the one rushing to the team flight at ABI 15 minutes before it pushes back?
Um, Probably, oh gosh, I feel like none of us because we'll all get in trouble, but most likely maybe Bella because she shows up a little late to practice, but that's I all of us are pretty much on time.
All right. Um, what was your favorite trip in the WAC last year?
Probably the Navy tournament
In
going to
within the
Maryland.
conference,
Oh, in the conference.
and then outside of
Probably
Texas.
probably like Utah, Utah Valley and Utah Tech because we stayed for a week because we played both of them. And I think it was Utah Valley, there was like no snow And then we drove to Utah Tech. There was no snow. Utah Valley came. There was snow everywhere, and I was like, "This is awesome." It was really pretty.
All right. I kind of diverged on my own segment there. Okay. Um, let's keep going. Who has the team's biggest sweet tooth?
Probably Meredith.
All
She's
right.
asking us for if y'all want a sweet treat or something.
All
So,
right. Who is the most likely to be on Yelp looking up places to eat and planting the bug in Coach Graham's ear as to where to eat on trips?
um, probably Zoe. Zoe or me, probably. I
All
love
right.
some good food.
Let's see. Who is most likely to be who's the first one off the bench when the other team calls a timeout to celebrate a run?
Um, Probably Meredith if she's on the bench at the time. Meredith or like Amy.
Okay.
There are energy givers.
And lastly, let's see. Yeah, we'll go to we'll go to five with Peyton.
Okay.
Um, so you already answered the first question. Favorite trip in the WAC is the Utah stretch. Um, favorite off-campus dining spot in Abilene?
Um, I would say Bonsai, which is like a Chinese Japanese restaurant because I love chicken fried rice. So I would say Bonsai.
All right. Um, best and worst subjects in school.
Worst, math. Hate math. Um, the best, I would say like I always been a big fan of like science, so probably that.
All right. On one of those long flights in the WAC, what is one show that is on the Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Paramount binge watching list?
Oh, I would say like probably like a Adam Sandler movie, like Grown Ups, or mm, yeah, like Grown Ups. I would say Grown Ups. I love Grown Ups, all of them.
All right. Um, what was your favorite food city in the conference last year?
Oh, Food City. Probably uh I would say Seattle, maybe. I'm not sure. I can't really remember all
Seattle
the
seems to be a big hit with a lot of folks. Unfortunately, they're leaving us at the end of the year.
I know. But yeah,
Um,
uh,
and let's see. What is one item that is on your sports fan bucket list?
oh, I do. I want to with my dad, I want to go watch a PGA tour somewhere. That's what I want to do because me and him are he's a really big golf fan, so I think that would be really fun to do.
You didn't go to the WGC when it was in Texas or like Colonial Byron Nelson or
I We went to the Colonial I was probably like 14 and we followed Jordan Spieth around, but I really want to go to one with Scotty Scheffler because I think he's probably my favorite right now. So
okay. You guys visit the Chevron since the what was the Dinah Shore moved to Texas?
I have not, no.
Okay, so I have to ask, when you're flying over, flying in the WAC and you're on approach to an airport and you see a golf course near an airport like the approach to Vegas or the approach to DFW,
So
you ever think, ah, daggone it, I should have brought the clubs?
I do. I always make sure I look at like everything. Especially when we're flying over, I'm like, oh, there's a golf course, you know. But
And then do you get
yeah,
looks from the rest of the team like, are you crazy?
yeah, yeah, I do.
All right. What's the fun part about being an ACU Wildcat? People like we see the winning streak, we see the energy, we see the effort. We see all the shots going down on the inside or on the outside on game day. But on the inside, what's like your favorite part of being at ACU, playing for Coach Goodenough, and the history that she's built there?
I think being with this team, because they're all my best friends, and we're always hanging out with each other like every day, especially like yesterday or last night, went to one of our houses and hung out with them. And especially this year, the coaching staff is what makes it really fun. They're always encouraging and able to like help us with anything we need. So just the team, my friends, and the coaching staff is what makes it really fun here.
All right. One last question before we let you go to weights. Just talk about what it would mean to you guys to not only end that WAC tournament winning drought, because it's never happened in the ACU WAC era, but also to bring a regular season title back to Moody.
That would be amazing. And if we play Tarleton again, in the WAC champion or WAC tournament, I really hope we kill them, because they have they make me mad. But that's that. Especially a lot of my friends go there, so I really want to beat them. But I think all of us have that goal in mind, is to win the championship. I think if we all have that mindset and keep going and keep pushing, I think we can accomplish that. So
you talk about that. You got the I-20 rivalry. You've got the 3 Utah schools separated by 5 hours, and then you've got like CBU, GCU separated by about 8 hours. Talk about having that rival that is basically a gas tank away.
Yeah. I think ACU and Tarleton have always been rival schools, kind of. So I would say Tarleton has a great like atmosphere when we play them. I think just beating them in their gym and then beating them here, I think will be probably one of the best moments I will ever have, because I've always wanted to beat Tarleton ever since I got in here.
Okay, come on. That doesn't trump the CBU win last year, does it?
No. That was insane. That was really fun to play with CBU.
All right. Thank you so much, Peyton, for your time. We'll let you get to weights. Good luck on Saturday afternoon at Utah Valley in Moody.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow us on Twitter at WAC Hoops Digest and Facebook under WAC Hoops Digest for all your WAC Hoops news and information.